So, dear students, we will continue reading the chapter My Childhood, which is an extract from the autobiography Wings of Fire, which has been written by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. In our previous video, we have learned about his family, his parents, and his upbringing. Then later you came to know about how he started earning his first wages during Second World War at the age of 8 only. He used to collect newspapers which were thrown from the running train at Rameshwaram station. So in this way he started earning his first wages. Students, we were studying about his childhood friends who were Ramananda Shastri, Aravindam and Siva Prakashan. And all these three boys were Hindu Brahmin, and they belonged to an orthodox family, means the family used to follow all the religious customs very sincerely. And later Ramananda Shastri became the high priest of famous Rameshwaram temple. His another friend Aravindam went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Siva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So Aravindam started the work of transportation for arranging pilgrimages, means Tirth Yatras, and Siva Prakashan became a catering contractor. A caterer provides food facilities in the railways, so he was providing food to the passengers in Southern Railways. During the annual Sri Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirath, which was near our house. So every year in Rameshwaram, Sita Ram Kalyanam, means wedding ceremony, was organized, and for this the idols of Lord Rama and Sita were to be carried in the middle of the pond to the place, to the very auspicious place which is known as Ramatirath. So to transport those idols, to transport those murtis, his family, Kalam's family, used to arrange boats. So very remarkable thing is Sita Ram wedding ya Kalyanam is a Hindu ritual which is organized by Rameshwaram temple every year. But to transport those idols to that auspicious place of Ramatirath, boats of Muslims were used, and only Muslims used to transport those idols to that stipulated place. So this reflects that how Hindu Muslim were living with love, with harmony in Rameshwaram. There were no such discrimination as far as we can see in this religious ritual. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the Prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. So students, mother of Kalam and grandmother of Kalam, they narrated the story from Ramayana, a Hindi book. great book of Hindus and the life of Prophet Muhammad as bedtime stories to the kids. Means from very early childhood only, his Kalam was a cosmopolitan. He turned into a cosmopolitan because we can see that his family is also a cosmopolitan. A cosmopolitan is a person who believes every religion to be equal. So there was no discrimination between Hindus and Muslims because in his house Ramayana was also narrated and the story of Prophet Muhammad was also narrated. One day, when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. So when he was studying in 5th class in Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher joined. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Shastri. So he was wearing a cap which showed that he is a Muslim boy. He was a Muslim boy and he was sitting in the front row with Ramananda Shastri, a Hindu boy who wore sacred thread, means Janeu. So Ramananda Shastri was wearing a Janeu which reflected that he is a Hindu, and Kalam was wearing a cap which showed that he was a Muslim. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. So this was an indigestible thing for the new teacher. So he separated Ramananda Shastri because he believed that he is a Hindu priest's son and who should not be seated with a Muslim boy, and therefore he asked Kalam to go to the last bench in the class. I felt very sad, and so did Ramananda Shastri, and both the boys became sad due to this. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. So they became very sad. Even Ramananda was so sad that he started crying, and this has left a remarkable impression on the heart of Kalam. So Ramananda was a very dearly friend to Kalam. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. So after school, they both went to their home, and as you all used to do, you all narrate your whatever incident happened in your school. So both narrated the incident to their parents. Lakshman Shastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. And hearing this discrimination done by the teacher in the classroom, Lakshman Shastri, who was the father of Ramananda Shastri and the high priest of Rameshwaram temple, he called the teacher, and in front of Kalam and Ramananda, he advised teacher that he should not behave like this in the classroom. He should not spread social inequality, and he should not teach this discrimination to the little innocent children, because this discrimination is considered as a poison which is intolerable and can kill the peace and harmony among a society. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. So actually Lakshman Shastri was so much annoyed by this incident that he bluntly, candidly asked the teacher to say sorry to the kids. He asked to apologize to the kids. And another option was to quit the school and leave Rameshwaram forever. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshman Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So, due to this conversation between the Lakshman Shastri and the teacher realized his mistake. He was regretting for whatever he has done, and this bring about a change in the heart of the teacher. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. So actually in the whole society of Rameshwaram, this discrimination between the Hindus and Muslims was there, but some of the families were against it. As you can see in the family of Lakshman Shastri, you can find the same thing in the family of Kalam, and there is another family which wanted to break such barriers of discrimination, barriers of the Hindu Muslim in the society. So Siva Subramanya Iyer, he was a science teacher of Kalam, and he belonged to an orthodox Brahmin family. His wife was very conservative, but the science teacher was a rebel. Rebel is a person who does not want to go with the rules of the society. According to him, this discrimination between Hindus and Muslims was a wrong thing, was a wrong practice, and he wanted to eliminate it. So, and he tried every time to break such barriers, and he wanted that people should mingle among themselves irrespective of their backgrounds. So he used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So the science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer used to spend time with Kalam, and he also motivated Kalam by saying that he wished that Kalam should develop so much that he should be on par. On par means equal with the highly educated people in the big societies. So one day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. So as we have read that Siva Subramaniam was a type of rebel and his wife was of a conservative nature, means she did believe in this discrimination among Hindus and Muslims. And one day the science teacher Mr. Iyer invited Kalam to have a meal at his home, and during those days the people used to eat in the kitchen only. So the wife of Mr. Iyer got horrified at this idea. She was scared that how a Muslim boy can enter into her ritually pure kitchen, because she believed that by entering of a Muslim boy, her kitchen would become impure. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. So when Kalam was sitting there, she refused that she would not serve the food to Kalam, and she moved out of the kitchen. Siva Subramaniam Iyer was not perturbed. Means he was not horrified, he was not disturbed due to this, and nor did he get angry with his wife. So Siva Subramaniam did not get disturbed due to this behavior of his wife, and he even did not show the anger, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. So Mr. Iyer served the food to to Kalam, and they both ate together. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door, but hidingly his wife saw all the events which were happening in the kitchen. So I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Siva Subramanian Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. So Mr. Kalam was wondering that what she was observing hiding behind the door, whether there was some difference in the way of his eating, or some difference in the way of drinking water, or the cleaning the floor after finishing the meal. He was thinking what she was trying to find out in the manners of a Muslim boy. So when he was leaving the house, Mr. Iyer again invited him for having dinner the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, "Once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted." So whatever had happened in the kitchen has disturbed Mr. Kalam a little. Kalam was hesitating in visiting his house again for having dinner. So Mr. Iyer motivated him, encouraged him by telling that if one has decided to change the system, every person has to face many problems. So such problems of discrimination or anger or ignorance have to be confronted, have to be faced. When I visited his house the next week, Siva Subramanian Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. And the expected change happened. Mr. Iyer's wife took Kalam inside her kitchen and herself served him the food. So you can see the expected change in the system had initiated. The conservative wife of Iyer had changed into a logical person, into a rational person, and she had forgotten that discrimination between Muslims and Hindus. She herself took Mr. Kalam into the kitchen and served food with her own hands. Then the Second World War was over. India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. Now the Second World War had ended. India freedom was fixed. Definitely India was going to be free. Gandhiji had declared that Indians will build their own India. Means India will be ruled by Indians only. And the whole country was filled with an unprecedented, something which has never happened before, is unprecedented. Optimism is positivity. So the whole country was filled with a positivity which was never felt before in the people. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram. So the conditions were getting normal now. So he took the permission of his father to leave Rameshwaram and for his further studies, and he wanted to move to the Ramanathapuram. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So, the father of Mr. Kalam was happily agreed to this his decision of moving to Ramanathapuram for further studies. He said that yes, like a seagull flies across the sun alone, without a nest, without any support, without means like a seagull take a long flight alone. So similarly, he have to travel alone in this world. He have to struggle alone in this world to reach the zenith of success. But his mother was a little hesitant in sending Abdul Kalam to far away to distant place. So he encouraged mother also. He suggested that your children are not your children. Means every born child has his own destiny. He has something. He has his own individuality. He is meant to serve the nation also. They are the sons and daughters of life longings for itself. Means they are not only the sons and daughters of the parents, they are the sons and daughters of life also, the nation also. The children come through the parents, but not for them only. Okay, the parents can give love to the children, but not their thoughts. There need to be some difference in the thoughts so that changes can be built, society can be modified. So they have their own thoughts. Every children has their own thoughts, they have their own ideas, and this helps in bringing about the change in the society. So this was the story of Abdul Kalam from the very beginning to his leaving the Rameshwaram for his further studies. Hope you would have enjoyed the story. Thank you.